What's good, everybody? It's your boy BUNNZ here, and here's another special episode of In My Humble Opinion. Today, I'm going to be discussing the topic of violence in video games. Does it really affect crime rates in the world? Many different studies have been done over the years on the effects of video game violence and children. One such study was done in 2007 in China by Dr. Ran Wei. The doctor took 3 different groups. One control group that didn't change any of their daily activities, one group that was made to watch and play violent video games and watch violent movies, and another group that was doing nothing but watching positive movies and playing non-violent video games. After each session, the doctor would test each group on a scale of 1 to 5 on different things like aggression, empathy, and other violent tendencies. Overall, the results did show that the subjects that were exposed to violent video games and other violent media did have raised levels of aggression and less empathy. With these results, Dr. Ran Wei concluded that the exposure to violent media such as video games, movies, or TV shows would cause more aggression, therefore cause more violence in adulthood. These findings, I think, were a bit skewed for the fact that they weren't just testing for violent video games, but they were also exposing the subjects to other mediums, such as movies and TV shows. Also, I think these findings would be incorrect to apply to the entire world, considering that this study was only done within China, which was a small sample size of the human population. There is a cultural difference in views of violence across the board in many different cultures. What may be violent for one culture would be considered timid for another. One perfect example is everybody's favorite game, Minecraft. Minecraft is not just a video game, it's also an educational tool. The country of Norway has been using it for the past few years in their elementary school system. It gives the students a lesson in community, resource management, and even simple physics. But the simple, innocent game is also considered highly violent. The country of Turkey actually banned the sale of Minecraft to any of its citizens. So it didn't matter if you were a child or even an adult, you were not able to legally obtain a copy of Minecraft within their borders. Now, looking at statistics between the two countries, the murder rate alone in Turkey from 2004 to 2013 is more than 3 times of that of the country of Norway. Now, I could even do a simple study and come to the conclusion and say, with the absence of Minecraft, it actually increased violence in the country. But that's just silly talk, obviously. Violent children growing up to be violent adults has more to do with their environment than what video game they play. If a child is actually allowed to play violent video games all the time and gets every new violent video game as soon as it gets out, it's not a problem with the child or the video games. There's possibly an issue with the parental supervision. Many of these games go by a rating system. The ESRB, or Entertainment Software Rating Board, has been around since the 90s. It was the result of all that congressional hearing about video games and violence back in the 90s. Now, the rating system is much like the rating system you would see in a movie theater. But instead of using PG-13, R, it goes by other things like Y7, E for everyone, T for teen, M for mature. The M for mature rating goes to a lot of games that are considered violent. To be able to purchase a M-rated game, you must at least be 17 years old. You cannot go into a store and purchase this game if you are under the age, because the people at the store will not sell it to you. Trust me, I'm old as hell, and I still get carded for games. Speaking of old as hell, I myself have been gaming since the Atari 2600. And I've been gaming, honestly, my entire life. Playing everything from the most violent video game you can ever think of, to a simple game like Tetris, which is the equivalent of digital crack. And I myself have grown up to be a well-adjusted adult. And anybody who says that I have violent tendencies, I will beat your fucking ass. But I digress. Back to the subject of the congressional hearings of the 90s, speaking about the violence in video games. In their own words, they said violent video games would increase violence in children and into adulthood. If this was true, then how come crime rates in the United States have been on a steady decline since the 1990s? How come you could actually walk through neighborhoods that you wouldn't be able to walk through back in the 90s, but you can today? Violence actually has been on a downward slope here in the United States, but we can't either blame or thank video games for that, because there are many other factors in it that cause people to become violent, not just in their upbringing, but also in their own morals, sense of others, and their own feelings and empathies for other people. Video games do not change this. They change this. The violence is not because of the video games, it's because of the player. Thank you for watching this special episode of In My Humble Opinion, topic on violence. Make sure to leave a comment down below. What do you think? Does video game violence make children grow up to be violent adults? Leave your thoughts down below. Make sure you leave a like, favorite, subscribe. Also, make sure you check out fullscreen.com and their other content creators. They might have some stuff on there you might like. It's your boy BUNNZ signing out, and I think I'm about to go play some more Minecraft. Peace.